Get free tech advice for your business from O2 Gurus. Search O2 Business for more.
Hey guys, welcome to the first Btekt award ceremony results. Smartphones as a category. The smartphone of 2014, according to us, is going to be announced at the end of this video, along with a silver prize runner-up. We've got 6 smartphones in a running: the BlackBerry Passport, the Samsung Galaxy Note 4, the Sony Xperia Z3 and the Z3 Compact, as well as the HTC One M8 and the iPhone 6 Plus. How do they stack up against one another, and which is our winner? Keep watching to find out. Jumping straight into the Samsung Galaxy Note, and this is the best Samsung device to date. It wipes the floor with the Galaxy S5, Samsung's flagship. On top of the fact you've got a metal frame, so a new design from Samsung that was introduced on the Alpha, which looks great. You've got a Quad HD screen. It's a 5.7-inch display giving you a pixel density of 515 pixels per inch. That's sharper than any of the other devices on our finalists table. You've also got an S Pen, which is brilliant, introducing double the sensitivity as found on its predecessor. You've also got a really good rear-facing 16 megapixel camera loaded up with optical image stabilization and a fingerprint scanner, as well as a heart rate monitor. Heart rate monitor on the back, fingerprint scanner on the front. Despite the new design direction, Samsung hasn't gotten rid of the removable back cover, which means you can take out the battery, you can carry a spare. There's 32 gig of onboard memory, but you can expand that by up to 128 gigabytes. All in all, making the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 a truly brilliant device. That 32 gig means it is the ultimate gamer's choice, with that big display and plenty of onboard storage to store your games on. There's also a 3220 milliamp battery inside. So again, really impressive stuff, and you will definitely get a whole day's use out of it. Another phone that's going to get you a whole day's use is the Sony Xperia Z3, 5.2-inch full HD display, front-facing stereo speakers, thin chassis, just 7.3 millimeters, but you've still got waterproofing on here, a physical camera button, so this is the only one that doubles up as an underwater capture device, except for the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, which we will come on to later. Speaking of that camera, it's 20.7 megapixels. You really do get everything on here, aside from 32 gig memory. There are variants of this with 32 gig memory, but that is really something we would have loved to see as standard from Sony, or at least as an easily available option for people, because we filled ours up in no time and there are certain apps you can't load onto memory cards. As for what else this introduces, PS4 Remote Play, so you can stream your PlayStation 4 games on your Xperia Z3 and hook it up to a DualShock 4 controller and have a great old time. 3100 milliamp battery means you are easily going to last a full day with it. As for the HTC One M8, this is the oldest device on our table. It looks the best in our opinion. It feels great. It sits very comfortably in the hand, despite the fact it is all metal. The metal just curves beautifully around the sides. Incredibly elegant. The design on this thing is really something else. It's a big device. Front-facing stereo speakers give it some real presence. A 5 megapixel front-facing camera and a 5-inch HD display that's full HD really do make center stage on the front. As for the flip side, it's that duo camera, low resolution at 4 megapixels, but you can get some very cool effects on there, and you do have a very color accurate flash as well. Unfortunately, the battery is just 2600 milliamps, so we would have liked it to have been a bit bigger, but it should see you through a day unless you are a major power user. Putting that to one side, and the BlackBerry Passport. This is a bit of a wild card, but it's on here for many good reasons. For starters, the hardware is innovative. The keyboard doubles up as a trackpad. It looks weird. It's not going to be for everyone, so it will be Marmite, but that hardware implementation works really nicely, and it does, if nothing else, feel premium with its metal frame. What you can also expect is some incredible hardware inside the phone. You've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801, you've also got 3 gig of RAM in addition to 32 gig internal memory. There's an optical image stabilized 13 megapixel camera, as well as Cat4 LTE. This also has one of the sharpest screens around with a pixel density of 453 pixels per inch. 1440 by 1440 at 4.5 inches, and it's IPS, so you get great viewing angles and really gorgeous colors. Ultimately, the BlackBerry Passport is a perfect showcase for BlackBerry OS X for the first time, an operating system that really does feel complete out of the box, thanks to the fact you've got the Amazon App Store on here, giving you access to loads of Android apps, and you can also sideload your own Android apps on here too. Moving on to the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, this is a flagship spec phone in a smaller package. In fact, it is pretty much exactly like the Sony Xperia Z3, save for the fact you've got 2 GB of RAM on here as opposed to 3, and that's no big deal considering this only has the power of 720p display. What else have you got on here? Well, it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, 2 GB RAM paired with 16 GB internal memory, expandability up to 128 GB. This thing is waterproof, it packs stereo speakers, there is a physical camera button on here as well, 8.6mm thin, so it isn't super skinny, but it is very, very comfortable to hold in the hand. Android 4.4 paired with the same 20.7 megapixel camera around the back, capable of recording 4K video, and a 2600 milliamp battery. 4.6-inch screen, same capacity as the HTC One M8 for example, but a much lower load on it, so this thing will easily last a day once again. Ultimately, the Sony Xperia Z3's Compact's only real shortcoming is that 16 GB of memory for anyone who likes to load a lot of games on their phone, but you can get an expandable card if you so wish and can load your games onto it. Now moving on to our final device, and this is another phablet. It is the iPhone 6 Plus. The iPhone 6 didn't make the cut just because the iPhone 6 Plus's battery life is utterly stupendous. The design is pretty beautiful. There was the whole Bendgate thing, but really we didn't experience any of that. 7.1mm thin, 172 grams, 5.5-inch display, pretty bezel heavy up top and bottom, but that home button at the base doubles up as a beautiful double tap to bring the whole menu down, and of course fingerprint scanner. On the flip side, you've got a wonderful performing 8 megapixel camera loaded up with optical image stabilization, and ultimately a brilliant phone. 400 ppi display that looks very nice and bright. iOS 8 inside. This is the best iPhone that we have ever come across without a shadow of a doubt, and the battery will easily last you a full day. Definitely though, if you do opt for one, get the larger capacity than 16 GB versions, either 64 or 128, as you will fill it up in no time flat. So that's our shortlist, but what is our winner? Drum roll please. And we're going to start by telling you our runner-up, and our runner-up is the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The Galaxy Note 4 could have so easily been a winner. It's the best spec device on the table as far as Android goes. And of course, it's got that S Pen, but TouchWiz after a lot of use does just slow down that little bit too much. In addition to that, it is expensive. This costs around £535, so it kind of just lost out on the value front. And that's after the price has gone down a fair bit since launch. Still, it is the best device on the table for geeks without a shadow of a doubt. Make sure you check out our videos where we sketch on it, and personally it's actually my favorite, but the vote went with another device, and that is the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. Why? If this isn't necessarily the best spec on the table, well, because it practically is, and it comes in a form factor that everyone can hold. It's also incredibly well priced. Despite the flagship spec, you can pick one up for between £300 and £350. Really phenomenal, combining that waterproofing with that super fast processor, with the expandability, with that physical camera button, with a high risk. You get what we're saying. It actually does have virtually everything, so it makes it the easiest phone to recommend and Btekt's choice for 2014. So there you have it, our winner in this category. To find out our winners in all our other categories, click the links in the description section below. If you've got any comments, comment away, and of course if you like the video, click that like button, and if you like Btekt in general, want to stick around throughout 2015, click subscribe. Little else to say, but have a very happy, hopefully tech-filled new year. Thanks for watching.